Hi and welcome to another video. My name is Wilna and today we're going to have fun with paint and impasto paint and a die cut. So I created a bunch of die cuts that you can find on iheartstudio.ca, and this is one set, and the other set I'll show you just in a second, but this was inspired by me as a mom. Sometimes I have to remind myself just to chill, to smile and wave. Sometimes I just say no, and then this die cut that my kids always tell me, relax, nothing is under control, and I just love it so much that I thought it would make a perfect page because it's very true. And sometimes the control freak in me wants to have everything under control. And it's good to remind myself sometimes just to relax because really nothing is under control. So I'm working with a Studio Calico's kit this month, and they had the cutest little embellishments. And here you can see just a little bit. The kit is called Camelot. And it's very sweet, and I love all the little parts of it. That's the photo I'm going to use, and the papers are also just as pretty, shades of pink and apricot and yellow, all my favorite colors. So I'm going to be using the Martha Stewart paints that you see right at the top of the screen. And I've had them for a little while. Actually, I just bought them because they were so pretty. I bought a whole set of those colors. And when I decided to make this page and knew what I wanted to do, I just took them out because those are the colors I want to use. Also, you will see that I go on a tangent and I just keep on doing the same thing over and over again until I'm sick of it, and then I move on. So I think this is probably some of the last bits of rainbow colors that I'll use, or impasto paint. But I decided to make thick impasto paint and to press the die cut into it. I cut it from watercolor paper. I did a double cut, or the tick box was tick for double cut, and the speed on my machine was quite slow. And I found that when the machine is slow, it takes a little longer to cut, but the quality of the cut is amazing. So I'm just gathering some supplies right now. We're going to be using the paint, some glue, tacky glue, and paper plates and craft sticks. So you want to gather those. And now I'm having a struggle getting the tacky glue out of the bottle. So we're going to start with orange. You can see the letter stickers that's peeking out underneath the photograph. That color inspired me. That was my starting point. I decided to go with the orange, but that orange was a little too bright, so I just added some white to it. There you can see. I wanted to match that color, and I'm just going to add some white to it, and then I'm going to mix in some tacky glue. The reason why I'm adding tacky glue is because I want the paint to dry hard quickly. In the end, I don't know if it made a big difference, but the paint did dry hard, but it still took a long time. It took probably 24 hours. So this is one of those pages, if you want to do this, that it takes time to get it right. So now you can see I'm just adding a blob of glue. That's probably a little too much. But I wanted a lot of paint. So now I'm going to spread it over. You see, I'm just making a mental note where the cut will start. Now you just want to put your impasto paint there. This page, I've done this before on an Indomuta scrap page for 2-piece in a bucket, but I found I decided it was time again to do it, and just with a different type of cut. Rather than hearts, I used the words. And like I've said before, you can find it on iheartstudio.ca. I'm very happy to bring you these cuts. I think it's absolutely value for money to get them if you want to. So now I'm just using purple, and you can see the colors are very subtle and pastel, which is nice. Actually, I did more than one page today, and I made a lovely page that I was so tempted to put up today because I cannot wait to share it. But it will be up next week. But it's one of my favorite pages. But I love this one as well. And I love these embellishments in the Camelot kit by Studio Calico, the green and blue flowers, and I wanted a color that would more or less match it, and I think that blue right straight out of the bottle did a wonderful job. I just add some glue to that as well, and I'm just spreading it really thick. And now I'm just want to use green. What's cool about using paper plates is you can really just throw them away when you're done with it. You don't have to feel sorry for it, and it's a nice way to work with mixed media in a very clean and orderly way. It keeps your desk clean. You don't have palettes of paint everywhere, so I like that. So now you can see this is how simple this page is really. It's 5 strips of paint, and I'm just drawing through them very lightly with a craft stick just to make it a little bit evenly. And now I'm going to use the piece of towel that comes in the Studio Calico kit, and I'm going to place it over it. I don't think you can really see it. And now I'm going to add my cut, and I'm pressing it with my pointy tool that honestly I cannot go without this tool. And I'm just pressing the cut in there, and there you go. Now it has to literally dry for 24 hours. So this probably took me 5 or 10 minutes, and you will see how lightly you embellish and how easy it is to make a page just by using these couple of elements on a page. Right, and fast forward 24 hours, and there you can see the dried paint, and I'm going to use this picture of Jana because I wanted to use a photograph that's really not super serious, sorry, tongue-tied again. Anyway, so I decided that I want that beautiful paint splatters to show over the photograph. So just take your craft knife and cut around it if you have, if yours look like mine. Otherwise you don't need to. And you just want to cut around it to open it up a little bit and slide the photograph underneath it. And be careful not to cut yourself. I'm just trimming my photograph a little smaller so that it can slide in underneath it, just like that. So now I'm super happy with it, and then I'm just going to cut the white paper a little smaller because I want to mount it on a piece of paper. And then I'm rolling up the tulle. Now, I think my video is a little light. You can't really see the tulle, but you'll see it on the photographs. And it looks so pretty. When you staple it together like that, you can actually see it. And that I'm just going to do with a little hot glue dot and a puffy sticker or something. And now I'm looking to see what paper I want to put behind it, and I decided to double layer it with you can see I'm counting. I'm just want a square. I'm just gonna cut off an inch. Basically, it's 11 by 11 piece of white paper, and I want to mount it a little bigger. But then the yellow was a little too harsh, and I just layered it with the vellum, also in the Camelot kit, which I love. So I'm going to sew it or stitch it down in the end. And I think the page needed a little bit of yellow, in my opinion. So there's the puffy stickers, also part of the embellishments. And I'm just using the white to place a few dots here and there. And now my hot glue is ready, and I'm just going to press in one of the dots there, and you can see a little bit of the tulle coming together. But in the end, the tulle actually disappeared, so I was a little bit sad. I wished it showed off a little better. The photograph of Jana was taken in the snow, so I think that's why the white pop dots reminded me of little snowflakes. And also in the kit is these beautiful gold rub-ons by Dear Lizzie, and I'm just going to rub off some of the chevrons at the top and at the bottom of the photograph. I love those gold rub-ons. And while I was rubbing it off, I'm like, maybe I can do something else with gold rub-ons. But you know how much I love rub-ons and paint and watercolors. So I think the rest of that sheet might appear in some future video. So almost done with the page. I love how you can slip the photograph underneath the paint splatters. It reminds me of the die cuts, the paint die cuts that I made a couple of weeks ago. So I just want to cut my photograph a little smaller as well. And then I'm just going to adhere everything together and see what I need to do. So I decided to add a little bit more of the rub-ons. I'm just going to cut out that sweet phrase with the hearts. And then I'm just going to place it over the photograph and underneath the paint, and then just rub it off. Just that little bit extra. I don't want to embellish it too much. And there's the star that came with the tulle, and I found the perfect little spot for it, and the flowers. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue to that as well. So for the background, you can see the vellum with the chevrons on it. I'm just going to cut 1/2 inch off of it, either sides, on 2 sides. And then I'm going to layer it over the yellow. So in effect, this page has 3 layers. The yellow flowers, the vellum, and then the background page. And I'm just taking off all the little webs that the hot glue gun makes. I feel like Spider-Woman. And now I've felt that I really need to stitch around the edges, and so I'm going to take out my sewing machine and just run it through a couple of times just to give it a really finished look. And this is not rocket science. I only stitch paper with this machine, and I think the only tip I want to give you is to clean your needle often enough. Just take a little bit of nail polish remover and just wipe it down with a cotton ball, because the adhesive on your pages do get on the needle, and that's when you run into trouble. Anyway, so this is how simple this page is. I thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you try this technique. You can do it with acrylic paint as well. Well, this is acrylic paint, but artist acrylic paints, that's a little bit more impasto. This took a little longer to dry, I think, than normal paint. And otherwise, just have fun. And I'll see you next week with a fabulous page. This is Wilna, and I love Calvin and Hobbes. Bye.